Here we go again. We back in business. Dante Sr., Dante Jr. What's going on, Dante? What's up?
Not much, just chilling. How you been?
I've been good, chilling out here, seeing what's going on, seeing what's happening out in the world, what it is that you and I are going to discuss. But I got a good one for you today.
Oh, yeah? What's up?
Yeah. So Tyreek Hill arrest video. Well, not really arrested. He was pulled out the car and manhandled. But, that's the video we're going to talk about today. We're going to jump right into it.
Hey, don't knock on my window like that, man.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Don't knock on my window.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Don't knock on my window like that, no.
Like what?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. That way you can lower it and talk to
Just
you.
get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do.
Keep it down. Hey! Keep your window down. Hey! Keep your window down.
Don't tell me what.
Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car.
Give me your ass, bro.
Get out of the car.
Give me your ass, I'm gonna break that freaking window.
Get out of the car. Get out. We're not playing this game. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Damn. What part of blood doing this thing? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. God damn, twin.
When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand?
I'm getting out,
You
bro.
understand? Not what you want, but when we tell you.
I'm getting
You're a little
out.
you.
I'm getting out, bro.
Too late.
Chill,
Too
bro.
late.
All right, bro. Take me to jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro.
We are. We will.
Good, bro.
It is good.
Hey, hey,
Don't worry about it. I hung up the phone. You stop crying.
bro. Y'all
Come on.
good. Bro, you beating on my window like you crazy. Why y'all beating on my window like y'all? Is it for? Damn, y'all, bro.
I think it's funny how they're all like trying to be all back and forth with him. It's like, wow, they got like 3 dudes on top of him.
Pause.
And it's like, and it's like, you already have him in handcuffs. Like, why you keep you just keep on trying to lecture him basically.
Yeah, they're trying to just like poke him a bit, like kind of like get the last word. Like,
Yeah.
just shut up and let me say what I got to say.
Yeah. It's
Bro, dude, beating on my window like he crazy. I ain't do nothing, twin. Dang. Hey, hold on, pull to the side, Joe. No. I'm gonna have a seat. Hey. Hold on, twin. Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro.
I just heard you in your ears when we told you to put your window down.
Chill, bro. Hey, Joe New, bro.
Back up.
Hey, call Drew.
Okay. So yeah, this Tyreek Hill video, comply or de-escalate. Yeah, I looking at that body cam video, Tyreek Hill was definitely being rude to the cops, right? He was being rude. But being rude is not illegal,
Yeah, you're right. It's not illegal whatsoever to be rude to them. And I believe it's more so like it's like a shot at them. And it's like since they're part of the law, and it's like you are, and to some, not all cops, it's like, oh, I am the law. And they think they could just do wherever they see fit.
True. That is very true. It's also, it becomes an ego thing with cops, right? It's like they're being told and trained in the academy, or their training is that the people have to listen to what you tell them to do. But it has to be a lawful order. You not just listen to whatever they have to say. It has to be a lawful order. Essentially, he got pulled out the car because he was being rude to the cops. Essentially, that's what it was. It was he was being rude to them. They had the ego about it, and they pulled him out the car for a speeding ticket. Now, cops, they can pull you out the car for police officer safety, but this wasn't the case. You know what I mean? They can make it seem that, but clearly there was no overt threat to pull him out the car. They did it because they could, not because they had to.
Him saying like, "Oh, don't tap on my window." That's enough for you to say, "Oh yeah, this is in danger to my safety. Therefore, I'm gonna pull him out the car and then put him on the ground and then just lecture him
Mhm.
as he keeps on talking. It's like, okay. One thing I will do though is that I'll give credit to the other cop
Mhm.
when he wanted him to sit down, but then Tyreek was like chill and
Yeah.
he was just trying to keep it cordial. But then the other cop, the second cop, was just like instantly like just trying to bring him down. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, now you're just doing it for no reason.
But here's the thing. The initial cop who was at his door, he wasn't the one being aggressive. It was, it was the aggressive cop. It was him. He was the one that escalated. Other cop was just like, hey, talking to him, trying to have a discussion. He was just very normal. Like, hey, man, like I tell you to leave down your window. It was, OG thug cop who decided that he wanted to grip him up, get him out the car, snatch open his car window, throw him to the ground when he was talking to him, trying to get him to sit down. OG thug cop. He was the problem, and he's the one ultimately that got suspended also. But he's going to leave. Ultimately, it's likely not going to lead to much. At least in my opinion, I don't believe it's going to lead to much. He's on leave or desk duty, whatever he's on now. He's getting a paid vacation, and he'll be back. Some sort of verbal reprimand. He'll be back soon. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Damn shame, honestly, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Hey, man, this is what it's like. So,
but one thing too is like, was it even necessary for them to put him on the ground? Like,
well, it wasn't necessary, but as I said before, they didn't have to do it, but they did it. No, it wasn't necessary to put him on the ground.
yeah,
because it wasn't like get out the car, put your hands behind your back. It was all one motion, like snatch him out the car, throw him on the ground. And that's rare. That's and then for him allegedly speeding. No, that was that cop being OG thug cop, being overly aggressive, pulling him out the car. Because I've seen people get out the car. Very rarely has someone been pulled out the car and thrown to the ground immediately.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But hey, man, this is what happens. But we're gonna get back to it.
Every time I see situations like
Crazy.
this, I think about my two boys and just how you got to prepare these dudes for situations like this. Got to do that right. Got to do this right. Got to do this. Got to do that. Even if you are right, even if you're not wrong. For me, what really stood out in this whole video is, why are you so angry and aggressive, dog? Like, for real, like, you even angry and aggressive at the people there trying to support Tyreek. Like, Calais Campbell got his hands up like this, and he ain't even part of the situation because he like, don't pull your gun out me, don't shoot. Like, this is crazy. When you see cops, you're supposed to think like, cool, I see a cop, man, we protected, we good around here. Well, if you're a black dude, you feel even more scared. I go back, I'm watching this video. Tyreek Hill is so scared talking to his agent on that phone as that phone is on the ground. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, he didn't roll his window down. He rolled his window down, gave you his driver's license, and then he rolled his window back up. Then you go and yank him out of the car like Shady said, like he done did like a robbery or he got a gun or what. Like, it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing to where you're really supposed to feel safe around them, but we feel threatened. And like I say, superstar athlete or not, I think about my kids. And if that was my kids I see getting yanked out of the car for going 10 miles over the speed limit, I'm right outside the stadium where I play. This is ridiculous. And it got to get fixed because obviously we all know it's not just happening to Tyreek Hill, but this got to get fixed. But for you to come up there and just be that angry off the rip and not just pulling him out the car, then you tackle him to the ground a second time as he's standing up with the other cop just standing there right there with him handcuffed. You come tackle him and put him back on the ground. Like, come on, man, all that stuff is unnecessary for real.
So what do you think, Dante?
One thing I'll say for sure is that it's really sad that it's like not really an unwritten rule, but it's like how black parents need to teach their kids, like, hey, this is what you should do with cops and all that. Like, that's one thing I will always point out because I know you did the same thing too. So it's just like, and now being older, it's really sad to that it's like a requirement to do. And he's not wrong. But like a whole bunch of cops just like coming at him, and it's just he's just sitting there like a sitting duck. It's just like,
yeah. Well, this is what I would say. As your dad, right? We definitely had the talk about how to interact with cops. Even, I mean, as you're learning to drive, you put the car in park, you press, you put the car in drive, you press on the gas, you press the brake, blinkers. You're also talking about how to interact with cops. I've had that conversation. Me and my brother, we've had the conversation. It's just part of life. And I don't know if every other demographic in America goes through that kind of explicit kind of how you deal with cops. But in this instance, I agree with James Jones. And like I said, as a dad, you definitely got to have that conversation with your son. And no matter, even if you're a professional athlete, they're no different. They're still Black. They still have to have the conversation. And that was a bit surprising to hear from James Jones, that, he is Black, but also being rich or famous, whatever you want to call it, for a pro football player, retired. It doesn't change the fact that he has to have those conversations with his kids. And that's what stuck out to me and was partly sad, but this is America, man. This is how we got to operate.
right. It's reality. So it's just, that's a big thing too. Like this is like, it's just like another case of showing like, no matter how rich you are or famous you are or who you are, by the end of the day, the law doesn't really, or like how this thing, goes. There's really no changing of how they see you.
You're still Black.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
still-
matter. Doesn't matter if you are Emmanuel Acho. If you immigrated here from another country, you're still Black at the end of the day. I don't care if you have an accent and you're from London. When the cop pull you over, you're still Black. Doesn't matter.
Whole life is all about accountability. Like, how can I get better? So right now, I have family members who are cops. We've had conversations. Yes, I will say I could have been better. I could have let down my window. At the end of the day, I'm human. I gotta follow rules. I gotta, do what everyone else would do. So now, does that give them the right to literally beat the dog out of me? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, I wish I could go back and do things a bit differently. I'm not the only one that goes through that, man. You feel me? Like, and where I'm from, you typically see that a lot, and you don't hear about it, because not everybody has the same resources as Tyreek Hill. I'm numb to it. It's kind of expected. So, gone. He got to go, man. Because in that instant right there, like, not only did he treat me bad, you know what I'm saying, he also treated my teammates with, disrespect. He had some crazy words towards them, and they ain't even do nothing. Like, what did they do to you? They just walking on the sidewalk.
So I will say Tyreek Hill, he did take accountability and acknowledge where he was wrong. He could have left his window down. And I do believe Tyreek Hill definitely was culpable in the situation. But I also believe that one of those two people is trained to de-escalate, and it's the cop and not Tyreek Hill. Us as regular citizens, we're not trained to de-escalate. Even if you and I have had the conversation about how to deal with cops, that's not a 100% guarantee. That is just my life experience telling you what's the best way for you to end up being alive after a traffic stop. But he also wants the cop to be fired. I can agree with that. Like, it only takes one bad cop to taint the experience for everybody, that Tyreek Hill associates with. It only takes one bad cop for now it to spread to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 other people about how bad police are. Most people haven't experienced a bad interaction with police. I haven't. I assume you haven't either. But instances like this where people do experience, you keep that in the back of your mind when you're dealing with cops. You don't know if he's having a bad day. You have no clue. And next thing you know, you get pulled out the car and thrown on the ground for us supposedly speeding.
But one thing I will say, yeah, he did take accountability, which is great. You know, Tyreek Hill did that, and it's just, and yeah, also him. I don't know if people would see him differently when Tyreek said, "Oh yeah, he has to go. Like he needs to get fired." All that, which I agree because it's you've been trained to do what you've been doing, and you didn't do that. So therefore, something needs to, like, you either need to get back to training or get on out of here. But one thing I will say though is that I've been thinking about this. It's like not a lot of people have resources like Tyreek. Like you said it before. It's like not a lot. Yeah. So it's like back to what we were saying. It's like there's people who really don't have nothing. So it's like they don't say if all this happened and no cameras were around or like they weren't really like a celebrity. They weren't really like an athlete.
Yeah.
They probably could have had him with it was the same thing happened, but Tyreek wasn't famous. Man, they could have pulled it off.
Well, put it like this. When they pull you out the car, 9 times out of 10, you're going to jail. Because he was Tyreek Hill, he called his agent, he called the head of security for the Dolphins, and he was able to leave. 9 times, you and I, they pull you or I out the car, we're going to jail. Well, they'll sort out all the details, who gets suspended, what happened. They'll sort that shit out later. We're going to jail. But because he's Tyreek Hill, he can leave and go play in the game as he did and have a great game like he did. But you or I, any other regular citizen, we are going to jail 100% of the time. Well, 90% of the time we're going to jail. If they take you out the car, you're going.
Yeah. Like that's it. You're done. Like,
yeah, pretty much. And like I said, they'll sort it out later.
I was about to say it's the one part where Tyreek was talking about his friends being talk crazy. And it's just, and it's like they just got out the car and didn't do anything. But then they just went at them saying it's again for their safety. It's like all they had was a phone. And I know I can already tell people are going to say, oh, well, he could have had anything on him. It's like, come on, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. It ain't no shady, like full groups just doing some shady shit. Like just trying to come back. Yeah, just trying to like in the middle of doing something and they'll be like, all right, well, we're gonna cause havoc or something like that. Like, no.
Yeah. They're in the middle of planning a bank robbery and they're all driving $500,000 cars and the police are worried about for their safety, you need to leave. You're blocking the road.
Yeah, like
I mean, they're heading to the state. They all knew they were Miami Dolphins. You see Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell's like 6'8". Like, like he's either a Dolphin or he's a member of the Miami Heat. Like, come on, man. This dude's driving a Bentley truck. Come on.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, what safety is there? It's like for like where is it that you are in danger? Like Tyreek, he's driving like I think a Pagani or McLaren, one of them two. Where in the world would this man like just do anything to result in violence? Like,
there was a lot of ego. It was a lot of ego involved that day. You figure Tyreek is a multi-million-dollar professional athlete, well-known, worldwide fame. And you got the cops who are saying, I'm in charge. It was just a clash of egos, and they were both wrong in the instance. But, you know, I believe the cop was more wrong because he's trained for those situations.
I'm just being a black man, that's it. I'm just being black in America, bro. That's all it is.
We're dark too, brother. We're people of color too. Don't play like that.
Don't play that. I'm being a black man in America, bro, in a nice car. That's it.
Okay. Here, Adam, because I know obviously that one cop was being a little bit aggressive, but what was the problem with this video and what people need to understand this? Comply with the officer's instructions. Why did he have an attitude? Why do you have to roll up your window? None of that would have happened. None of this would have escalated if you just listen to the cops, leave the window down, give him your ID. By the way, they're not pulling him over because he's black. They're pulling him over because he was going over 100 miles an hour, Adam, because he was late. But Pat, and here's the problem I want people to understand. Yes, that other cop, aggressive. I don't like. That's the one that was put on leave. Totally uncalled for. He escalated even more than a situation shouldn't have been. But None of this happens. You don't see this video. You don't see any police cam, anything like this. If he just obeyed the officer's instructions. If you never want to deal with cops like that, just listen to what they say. Why do you roll up the window, Adam? They're trying to talk to you. You're rolling up the window. You're having an attitude. I'm late. You're this. And then at the end of it, to play the race card isn't helping the situation at all.
Dante, what do you think?
First off, fuck that motherfucker. That's all I'm gonna say. Fucking bitch. It's like, bro, it's like, what you talking about? You comply with this. First of all, complying with the cops' instructions does not mean you have immunity to anything of what happens. You're telling me if I comply, I'm not gonna have my face on the ground. I'm not gonna be pulled out of the car, and I'm not gonna or they're just not gonna do anything to me. They're just gonna I'll be staying in the car, none of that, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't guarantee it. Like, so dense to see how other people's experience are.
Yeah.
And it's a clear case. How do you watch this video and think, oh yeah, no matter what, it's still your fault? What? Like, I'll give him credit. He did say, oh yeah, the one cop was over escalating and all that. I'll give him credit on that. For you to say, oh yeah, you need to comply. No.
He also said obey, which I definitely don't agree with. Obey? I don't know this guy. I watched Patrick Bet David a couple times. I don't know this guy. Obey? You're a different kind of dude. He's a different kind of guy. You know, I get what he's saying. You know, why did he roll down the window? Why didn't he? You know, why does he have an attitude? Again, that has nothing to do with the greater situation. The cop is trained for that. You trying to tell me these cops aren't trained for somebody who is a little bit defiant? He was just being a little bit defiant and got thrown on the ground 2 times, actually. And this guy's talking about just obey. Look, I think we know what kind of guy he is, but man, everybody's not going for that. We have rights. You know what I mean? Tyreek Hill's a multimillionaire, famous athlete. He knows his rights. And everyone else in America should know their rights. And you're just telling them just obey. This guy probably got some knee pads somewhere that are worn out.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Now go ahead.
Also, he was also over exaggerating when he said, oh, when you're going over 100 miles. It was not over 100.
It wasn't.
It was 20. Like, come on.
You gotta over exaggerate to make the point.
It's like, dude, let's be for real here. For the people out there, do you think 20 miles is good enough to have your face on the ground?
No.
Like,
it's not even reckless driving. I think it's anything over 25 miles an hour is reckless driving. And it wasn't even reckless driving, you know. And I think Tyreek Hill, ultimately, I think he behaved that way because as most people, not even just black people, most people, you get pulled over, you just want it to end as quickly as possible. Just, if you don't give me a ticket, give me a ticket. Don't extend this. Don't extend the stop. Don't do any of that stuff. Just give me my ticket and let me go. Like, we don't need to do all this. So I don't know. I agree with him. He, like I said, he did point out that the cop was wrong. But the emphasis of what he was saying was, if Tyreek wouldn't have done this, then none of that would have happened. The emphasis of where he's placing most of the blame, it's on Tyreek. And that's where I think that he's wrong, because the cop is trained for this. He's trained for way worse situations. So, no, this guy, like you said, fuck that guy. I second that motion.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing too. You said they were trained for worse than this. This is probably like just like icing on the cake. It's like nothing to them.
Yeah.
And another thing to point out, in this instance, 2 negatives don't make it a positive. And what I mean by that is that for how things happen, it's like there was no positive outcome. Even if he complied or obeyed how he wants to talk about, how he wants to say it. So it's just, I don't believe none of this would have went out any better. Sure, it sounds great on paper, but you wouldn't know
Yeah.
that. You wouldn't know that till it happens. And it's like, I think some of these people just need to like that have that kind of mentality. They need to realize that hey, bad cops do exist. Let's not avoid that at all because it's like you can't just excuse them for everything.
Yeah.
And this level of shaming the cop is acceptable. Like this
Mhm.
makes sense because sure, there are times when this been over exaggerated when the cop had to do what they had to do, but
Mhm.
the times where there's been an uproar, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's completely justified to shame them for it.
Yeah. Especially in the instance here where we have a professional athlete outside of the stadium where he plays, and this happens to him. Like, if this happens to Tyreek Hill in Miami outside of the stadium, like, we're all the rest of us are cooked. You know what I mean? All the rest of us are absolutely cooked.
hmm
So, I mean, like, I get it. I don't know who this guy is. I just looked up his name, but we're just going to keep calling him this guy because I prefer he's just this guy. Yeah, but overall, I would say that this is a learning lesson for everyone, but particularly for those of us, black fathers out there who have black sons. You have to have the talk with your sons because if this was you or I or anybody else other than professional athletes who are going to a game, if this was a Tuesday, he probably would have been arrested. You know what I mean? It's like you got to survive the traffic stop, right? On the side of the road, the cop is going to win 1,000% of the time. You can fight him in court if you want to, but on the side of the road, that is not the place to have your ego show itself. Yes, you know your rights, but up to a point, he does have a gun on his hip, and you are sitting there with your phone in your hand. Last I checked, that gun is going to win every single time. Yeah, you're recording him. You're going to record your own demise. Final thoughts, Dante, on this whole Tyreek Hill situation?
Not much. Just like you said, black men, but black people in general, just put your pride aside, put the ego aside, just do anything to survive, really, when it comes to this. And to that guy, hey, just gonna shout out to that guy here. Hey, we can have a discussion. That's all I'm gonna tell you. 'Cause I believe you need an eye opener with people's perspectives. That's what I'll.
Everybody doesn't live the same life in the United States. Everybody doesn't have the same interaction with police in the United States. And that's what he needs to understand. They're professionals. We're just normal citizens. But I do want to ask you a question.
So,
If you were talking to one of your younger cousins and advising them on how to make it out of a police traffic stop, what would you say? You're talking to your 16, 17-year-old cousin who just got his license, and he's like, hey, you just happened to talk to him the day he got his license, and you're going to have the talk with him as far as police traffic stop. What would you say?
I would say just keep calm. Whatever he asks for you to get, just go ahead and get it. Anything questionable, just do what you need to do, and then you could take it up to court. But make sure you keep recording, no matter what. Keep recording, because that phone will be your lifesaver if he does anything shady.
So, do you have the phone up and recording the cop, or do you have the phone on your dash recording?
Phone on the dash.
There you go. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And if the cop does anything suspect, you have it there recording. I wouldn't say to hold the phone up in front of the cop's face and be like, hey, cop, and have it up in his face. I wouldn't say to do that. Have it on the dash recording. Here's my license, registrations, proof of insurance. Hey, do you know how fast you were going? Actually, officer, I don't know how fast I was going, and let it go from there. So, yeah. So here we go. Another one in the books. Dante Sr., Dante Jr., we back in business, and we'll get with y'all next time. We out.